The industry is at a crisis point. At the moment, if you see the number of drugs that are failing at phase 3 clinical trials, 3 I know about last year, and many, many more are coming through. So there's a fundamental problem in the way that we're designing and manufacturing these tremendously difficult molecules. Now, if you look at the amount of money that we're paying for the drugs, okay, and the demand for them, it's unsustainable. So, for example, last year, I believe the UK was spending 9% of its GDP on healthcare. In the States, it's 18%, and these are increasing. So this industry that we're in is unaffordable. Okay, every time I go to a keynote lecture, very often there'll be a graph of how much money the industry is making in biopharmaceuticals I'm talking about, and I look at that as a graph of unaffordability. Okay. So my passion is to join in the sort of the other people who want to actually make a difference to the ways that we are thinking about drugs from a patient's point of view, how we're designing them, how we're testing them, the ecosystem for actually going from an idea to an actual therapy. So that's why I think it's very important that we need to be part of this movement to improve the way that we actually tackle healthcare, and biopharmaceuticals is an increasingly important part of all. The industry over the next 12 to 24 months is this is going to be a very interesting time there, because it's in flux. There's so many pressures that are consolidating the industry and also pulling it apart. So I think it's a time of great change. The things that are pulling it apart are certainly things like mergers and acquisitions. So strangely, mergers actually will pull companies apart, because what do you do with the bits that are left over when you've consolidated? Okay, so this is a major thing. The other thing is that the realization that what we're making, biopharmaceuticals, are very much more complicated than we ever thought possible. So my feeling is that there's going to be a continuation of what's been going on for forever, which is understanding what it is that we're making, how do we make it, etc. And Informa, of course, catalyse that coming together. So I think that it's going to be more of the same, but it's going to be a very intense time. And my feeling is that there are going to be some winners. The winners generally are the companies that will invest in training for individuals, are engaged in the process of improving how we realise drugs. Okay. The losers are the folks who think that it's straightforward, because it's not. What we're doing is immensely complex. My feeling is that things like QbD are going to be important because these things require years and years of learning. It's not instantaneous there. It's a continuous process. So I think that there's going to be certainly the basic themes, how we make drugs, how we regulate them, these will always be there. The topics that are going to be hot may differ. 1 year might be glycosylation, that's my field there, and then it'll be something else, extractable and leachables. So those, so some things are driven by fundamental fundamentals in the industry. Okay, fundamentals are drugs. Things like costs, these will never go away. Okay, how do we get? So those will always be here. But some things will be fads, okay, and those will be to do with the latest technologies or what's gone wrong in a particular factory somewhere. Okay, so I think those two. But if I had a crystal ball, okay, I'd be very happy, but I don't. So.